Welcome to the Fast Mode Studios. I'm Ariana Lin, Principal Analyst at the Fast Mode, and joining us today is Elisabeth Andersson, representing MATRIXX Software, a prominent player in the 5G monetization arena. Just last month, MATRIXX made waves at TM Forum's DTW23 Ignite, where they showcased their state-of-the-art converged charging solutions, partnered with global CSPs and tech giants across several catalyst and proof-of-concept projects, and introduced their groundbreaking digital monetization solution. Good morning, Elisabeth.
Thank you very much, Ariane. I'm happy to be here. So my name is Elisabeth Andersson. I am a tech specialist within the CTO office, and one of my key things that I do with MATRIXX, who is a charging solution, is actually work with TM Forum in the member projects in order to advance the area of charging, which of course is the heart of our solution, but also to bring stuff back to our product in order to develop in the future.
Okay, so to kick things off, can you tell us more about MATRIXX's participation in DTW23's Catalyst project titled Building Customer Trust Through a Multi-Network Assurance Platform? How does this enhance operator support for Industry 4.0?
Yes. So if you think about it today, Industry 4.0 is very much about a digital and modern approach to things. And often these industries are global. They're not connected to one country or one area or one region. And one of the things that we see is that in order to give that one-stop shop experience for these type of services, you might need to collaborate with others in order to deliver that. One CSP might not have the connectivity needed in order to ensure that global reach. So that is pretty much the key part that we saw in this one. This is phase 3 of a catalyst. And we worked with DT and Airbus and Telecom Egypt on one part. They were very interested in understanding what does it take for a CSP to collaborate across these different areas in order to be able to deliver that end-to-end, where only one of them will actually have and own the customer relationships. And in this phase, since this is phase 3, we're looking at the use of the service. How could we ensure the quality of service that is requested by the customer? In our case, we looked at it from a car manufacturer perspective as an example. And to do this, what we needed to do was also to collaborate and look at it from different perspectives. So if you think about it, in our case, we actually chose the main operator didn't have any network at all. It was only provided by the partners, but they were the ones who were composing this offer based on the products on the underneath, from the underlying network perspectives. So what we needed to do was stitch it all together into an end-to-end solution. And what we needed to do was also to be able to do the service assurance on end-to-end. We needed to take the information from the different partners in order to stitch it all together. And what we wanted to explore was how can we do this in a modern way, thinking about how do we build the customer trust. It's a complex product, and we wanted to really build the customer trust throughout. So how can we do service assurance that is rather predictive than reactive? How can we make it self-healing? How can we utilize recovery plans? How can we do recommendations? And worst case, if an SLA breach is reached, how can we do that in a modern way? So what we wanted to do was to build this through a customer experience throughout this entire catalyst. And that meant trying to do reactive, predictive self-healing. It meant to do real-time monetization and compensation of the SLAs. Instead of thinking about it, traditionally today, SLA compensations are done on demand of the customer, or they're done after the bill run, or on demand in several months after the fact. So again, taking this real-time approach was something we wanted to do in order to build the trust with the customer. So that is the part that we did with this one.
Brilliant. On a similar note, MATRIXX participated in another Catalyst project at the event, Unlocking B2B2X Value for 5G Smart Spaces. What is this initiative all about, and how does it accelerate 5G monetization?
So this is a B2B2X partner system, looking at how CSPs can make money by partnering with others in order to deliver services to end customers. In this case, it was set in a tennis arena event. So what the CSP here was doing was looking at what are the things that a tennis arena would need, or an event arena would need, in order to deliver to their customers, which is actually in this case tennis fans, for instance. So we were exploring how could we partner with the retailers on site by helping them provide more smart shops, being able to give them cameras and other assets in order to monitor the stores. We did security. With security, we actually did something that I thought was really cool, because we didn't only do the connectivity related to cameras. You know, a lot of the time security is about cameras and surveillance and all of that. But in this case, we also embedded the possibility for physical security in there too, monetizing that aspect. Of course, it was the partner, the security company, that was actually providing the services, but it actually was resold together with the CSP in itself to the arena. And other aspects was looked at was MAC services, edge services, and the network slicing, in order to be able to provide all the contents. If you think about it, the tennis arena will own the data that is streamed, the tennis matches, the statistics, all of that is coming from them. And they need to, of course, store and be able to leverage that data. And also provide it to others in order to do that. So for streaming, for instance. So a lot of that was what we looked at in this catalyst. And thinking about it, I mean, it's a lot of players in here. We talked about a security partner. We talked about the CSP. We also talked about a smart store with cameras and stuff like that. And in this case, it's basically monetizing of all of this. So basically, the CSP will get the money from the tennis event or the retailers. But of course, they also need to share that money in order to get the ecosystem to flourish. So what we did in this catalyst was really calculating all the charges in real time for all the parties involved in this ecosystem, making sure they got a real-time view immediately. So not only the end user, in this case the tennis event or the retailer, but also the same with the partners. They could immediately see how many cameras did it sold. So you can think about it from a logistical perspective. What do I need to make sure I have in store for maybe more upsells? But also looking at how much revenue did I get from this event. So this is really where we focus on the monetization aspect of the entire ecosystem.
That sounds very exciting. We also heard about a laboratory project participated by MATRIXX, which relates to Google's Open Digital Architecture Canvas. Can you share more details on the project and its objectives?
Absolutely. It was kind of a fun project. We got into it quite late. We were asked by TM Forum and Google in June, I think, this year, to participate in this experiment, to basically deploy one of our components on top of the ODA canvas provided by Google. Just to give a little bit of background, what is the ODA canvas? So the ODA canvas is intended to be an execution environment for components. And in this execution environment, there will be supporting services that are common to all components. So instead of each component having to have its own meters or for observability, or how to be discovered or identified and so forth, the canvas actually provides a common service across components, no matter who the company is that is providing it. So that's kind of the idea with it. So that is what Google did. They basically took this and made a Google version of the ODA canvas. And that is what we deployed on. And what we did was, and for us, we're new kids on the block on this one. So we don't have yet any components defined by TM Forum that is really at the heart of our charging. We're still waiting for that, or being part of developing it. But what we did here was basically take one of our components, make it a microservice that we took, made it into a component. We dropped it into the Google ODA canvas. And it was kind of fun, because one of the key things you want with one of these is it should be talking to other components. And what we noticed was it was immediately able to discover. We were able to discover it immediately. We also saw that we could really use the observability with it. We can also use it for identity and authentication. All of that we got kind of out of the box. So that is the whole idea with this one. And this is Google's version of it. So there's others as well. So that is being done as well, but it's still in development. So we don't know yet all the services these canvases will be doing, but this is the first attempt of it. And it was a good, interesting insight.
Great. Shifting the focus now. As we mentioned earlier, MATRIXX launched a new digital monetization solution. Can you discuss the architectural shift brought by the solution and how it transforms legacy BSS? How does the new solution support new levels of flexibility and innovation, especially in a multi-vendor environment?
Yes. So if you think about it today, most of us are digital natives. We all want things working upfront. We want it to be transparent. We want it to be wherever we are at the point we are. And I think a lot of that has started in the movement of the omnichannel movement in sales and order. What we see is a need to push that boundary and start moving it into the charging and billing space as well. Because one of the things we really believe in is that we should provide a great customer experience. And we think that is done by moving real time into this space as well. And thinking about it, often today, if we look at it today, we have customers that are having products that are being calculated partially by the charging system as they use the services. You're using your data, you're calling your friends, you're texting. But you also have these recurring charges and one-offs that are being calculated by another parts and often done after the fact. What we want to do is to say that we need to move all of that in real time. We should really converge and use the charging should happen in real time. It should happen here and now, no matter if it is the usage of the product you have, if it is the one-offs, if it is the recurring. You should have it all up front so it's visible and available to you in real time. And that enables a great customer experience. We know from experience that it's a big problem in the industry today is still that customers don't understand their invoices. It's something that doesn't compute. They were told something in sales and they understood it, but then the invoice comes and they have a lot of questions. And we see the possibility of eradicating and rectifying quite a bit of that by providing this great digital experience. So we see the shift towards that. So this is the real-time aspect. The other aspect we see is that why should we have different products for different type of customer categories? We have the traditional prepaid and postpaid. Why don't we make that another part? Why do we have to have that different way of thinking? So by being able to consolidate and think about it from a perspective of, okay, how the product behave is what the charging and the product initiative does. And then how you pay is the second question, because if you calculate everything up front, you can choose how you want to pay. I want to pay through a credit card. I want to pay up front. I want to pay through a bill. You have different options there. So we kind of want to limit that part, because the thing is that if you're going to have different products for these different type of customers, you're gonna lose track. You're going to have less agility. You're going to have less innovation because you can test out different things. So that is the other portion. And the flexibility it provides. I mean, think about it. If you're going on vacation and you know you have an invoice, but you actually know exactly what it's going to be or what it looks like at the moment, you can pay in advance, right? It gives an advantage as you as a customer. But the flexibility is also really about the CSP's possibility to innovate new products. Again, they can test out new products. And maybe they find a prepaid product today that is actually working really nice and they want to move it to the postpaid side, but it's a different stack. But if you have that one common solution, you don't need to move that around. You can just do it with one. So that is the flexibility and the innovation that is possible with this type of thinking.
Okay, so on to our last question. What new use cases can we expect to see from this new solution?
Yeah, and I would apply it to different models, actually. I see it as a model that you can apply to different things. And it's kind of funny because if you think about the 3 projects that I started talking about, at least 2 of them are related to this as well. The first one, what we did was saying that we wanted to do SLA monetization in a different way, take a real-time approach. We could do that because we'd actually applied digital monetization to it. We said, let's calculate all the recurring charges up front. Okay, we're going to do an SLA monetization where the compensation is actually a percentage or a day off, a proration of that recurring charge. We could do that up front because we had applied the digital monetization aspect. Same thing with the second case. If you look at the tennis arena with all the players, there we actually said, okay, we have all of these. You can have you can have a business system and then you can have a partner system, all different charges all the things are calculated in different ways. What we said there is we're going to converge it all and do it at one place. So we basically were able to utilize that. When we sold a camera to a retailer, we can actually immediately not only charge the retailer for that, but also immediately calculate the charge for the partner, so they can see all of this in real time as well. So that is applying digital monetization concept to these type of things. And what I see is, if you look at the market today, the business side, especially the SME side, small medium businesses, they're a huge opportunity to look at this type of concept. They're close to consumers, but they often want different ways. They want the ability to not have to call in, and they want self-service, and they want to know what the cost is, because often they're very cost sensitive, right? So they want to know that transparency up front. So digital monetization to products within the space would be really fantastic. The other part I see, and this is more future looking than anything else, and we're not there yet, but I mean, looking at 3GPP and the standards for 5G, for instance, there's going to be new ways of thinking about it. Today's spend limit is really something we do maybe on a data package or something like that. But what if it's not a data package? What if it's something else in the future? Because we're not limited to all of those types that we have today with minutes, bytes, and items, right? It's not beyond that. So think about network slicing, for instance. Once it's there, we're going to see that network slicing will be controlled, where a number of devices can be attached to it, but not more than that. When we reach that limit, it's a possibility to have that as a spend, a cap, right? That actually notifies us. You can build products around it as well. So this is where the charging space comes into play, where we can actually do new types of products with spend control that helps the customers to understand what they have, but also give the opportunity for the CSPs to do upsells on it when they start reaching those limits.
Fantastic. That wraps up our interview for today. Thank you, Elisabeth, for joining us and for sharing an exciting glimpse into the future of digital monetization, as well as MATRIXX's incredible journey. For our viewers, thank you for tuning in, and if you want to learn more about MATRIXX Software and their solutions, please visit www.matrixx.com.
Thank you.